Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Sarah from Dishing Out Wealth, and in today's video, we're going to be talking all about budgeting. This video is going to be jam-packed with tips and tricks and things that you can do in your everyday life in order to budget better and make the most out of what you already are earning from your everyday job. So if you like this video, make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We would love to have you back, and be sure to check out our description box for more information about Dishing Out Wealth. We do financial coaching, budgeting, education, and a whole bunch more. So be sure to check it out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Budgeting is an art form. And yes, you heard me right. It's not just drawing stick figures there, it's actually taking the time to learn how to do it correctly. Just like an artist, if an artist is spending all of this time painting and making sure their drawing is completely perfect before they present it to the world, that's the exact same thing with your budgeting. You have to practice it, you have to make sure you have a mentor to help you do it, and you have to make sure that you are using your money correctly in order to budget correctly. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, is putting together all of the things that you need to know about budgeting and how you can use this in your everyday life in order to make the most out of the money that you make. So one thing to keep in mind before we get started is that when you mind the pennies, the dollars will mind themselves. So that means if you keep track of everything you earn down to the very last penny, you will actually have so much more left over at the end of the month, because if you are minding those small little things, it's all going to eventually add up so you can get more for your money, essentially. So the first thing to know when it comes to budgeting is to know how much money you're actually making. And this may sound like, okay, well, yeah, sure, whatever, that's something I already do anyways, but do you really know how much money you're making? The next thing you need to know about budgeting is how much your bills are costing you. So again, once you know how much money you're spending, start to break that down even more and say, okay, well, I'm spending this much money a month, but where is all of that actually going? So what we would recommend is breaking them down into different categories. So your rent, your utilities, savings, credit card debt, your car payment, anything like that that you can possibly think of that you're spending your money on. Break it all down into those categories and just kind of see where you're spending it on. So if your eating out budget is 50% of how much money you're actually making, then you may need to kind of readjust that a little bit, because that is a lot of money that you're spending on eating out alone. So just by starting off, putting everything into a spreadsheet and just seeing where it's all going is definitely one of the things that we recommend doing, because it'll start to help you understand where your money is going and how you can start to better use it in order to make more for yourself. Another tip is decide when you're going to budget. Some people do a monthly budget and some people do a bi-monthly budget. It kind of really depends just on when your pay schedule is and what works best for your lifestyle. However, we definitely think that it's better to do a 1 month budget, because a lot of the time your bills are only getting paid once a month. So if you have a budget for once a month, you know everything is going to be going to this utility or to this payment, and it's just done and out of the way, and then you can just go ahead and restart again the next month. So if you get paid twice a month, try to combine all of that together and then budget according to that. But again, it depends on your lifestyle and what you feel most comfortable with. Either way, having a budget is something that is super important and something that we should all do. So once we know how much money we're spending, how much money we are actually earning, and where all of that is actually going within our budget, the next thing that we recommend is to sit down with either yourself and the computer or a significant other and have a weekly budget meeting. So this can be looking over everything that you've already spent for the entire week. So everything you spent on coffee, all of your entertainment activities, all of your eating out, all of your bills, anything that came up for the previous week, sit down and break it down and then compare it to your overall monthly budget. This will help you stay on track. This will help you figure out what you're spending too much on, what you're not spending enough on, and that kind of stuff. So it'll just be really great to keep you accountable, and also if you have a significant other, it'll keep them accountable as well. And just by talking it out and being vocal about it will help keep you more motivated in order to continue to be budget friendly and more mindful. The next thing that's important in your budgeting journey is to create a game plan. So it doesn't matter how much money you make, having a budget for any kind of salary is really important. And just to know what you're spending it on and where you're putting it towards is important for everyone, regardless of where you're actually at. So make sure you have a game plan. Make sure you're knowing where you're spending money on, how much you actually have allotted to certain things. So for example, if you have a clothing budget, make sure that you're sticking to that by going over those weekly meetings and then making sure you have a monthly goal. Just make sure that the money that you're putting into your clothing budget stays there. And if you see something that you want later on, just put it into the wants list for the following month. That way you can still stay on track with your budget and it's not going to totally derail you. And another really good thing about having a game plan is just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So as we were talking about earlier, if one person is spending too much money, the other person in your relationship can help you stay more accountable for that, which is another really important thing when it comes to budgeting. When it comes to budgeting, it's really important to be diligent about how much you're spending and where it's going and knowing exactly where every single little penny is actually being put. So let's go ahead and use an example as a chocolate cake. If you have an entire cake put in front of you and you can go, oh, I have all the best intentions to just eat one slice. Well, one slice could turn into 3 slices, could turn into 5, which therefore pretty soon you've eaten the entire cake and you didn't even realize it. The same type of thing can go with budgeting. You can spend maybe $3 here, $7 there, and then before you know it, things just start to snowball and accumulate, and you've just spent all this extra money and you don't really know where it went or how you even got there. So be sure you're diligent with tracking every single penny that you spend. Put it into a Google count or a Google spreadsheet or an Excel sheet or something that just makes it really easy for you to track it and keep track of absolutely everything that you're buying. So maybe have a column that says the item that you've purchased, the date you've purchased it, and how much you actually paid for it. You can compare this with the receipts that you've got from, say your coffee shop or something, or even comparing it to your bank statements to make sure everything adds up so you're not missing anything. This is also really important to note if you're paying cash for things as well. So if you know you paid $10 for a few items at the grocery store, make sure you are recording that diligently into your spreadsheet so that way you're keeping track of everything that you've already spent. So being diligent is a really important key in order to be a very successful budgeter. So there you have it. Those are some of our top tips in order to budget your money. I hope that you found these helpful and that you can use them in your everyday life so that way you can make more out of the money that you're actually making. So we would love to know in the comments below how you like to budget and what you use in order to make budgeting successful for you. And if you would like help budgeting or coming up with a spreadsheet or different ideas of actually how to save your money, go ahead and contact us. The link is in the description box below, and we would love to talk to you more about how we can help you achieve your financial goals. So again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you in our next video.